Have you ever had a small disagreement in your family turn into something much bigger? Things often escalate much faster than most people anticipate. I'm Nicholeen Peck, and I help families navigate family conflict. I help them learn how to be calm in the hardest moments and how to prepare their families to be emotionally strong families. In this video, we are going to be discussing what is family conflict and crisis, and we're going to be talking about what you can do to handle it in those difficult moments. I think it would be best for us to talk about crisis first, because crisis is something that we have less control over. So let's talk about what's really happening in crisis and then what we can do about it. And then we'll do the same thing for conflict as we move forward. So when a family is in crisis, there could be all kinds of things that could be going on. And this could be something that is coming externally on the family, right? So maybe a parent loses a job, maybe there's a health problem, maybe there is a natural disaster, a house fire, something like that. These are big time crisis moments that families have to deal with. And when a family is in crisis, they start to look for the reserves of energy for how to get through. They're like, okay, where's our extra fuel tank that we've all got, right? We've been stocking up, preparing for a hard day. This is our hard day. How are we going to get through this, And I think that in those moments, people expect things to just go well because they need them to go well, but it doesn't always happen. In fact, what I've noticed happens is oftentimes during times of crisis, that's when all the other things happen too. It's just like it compounds. Have you ever heard people talk about, oh, it always happens in threes, I think threes became the number because it was like one bad thing happened, one crisis, and now because of that, we were so disconnected from other things that we needed to do in our life because of the crisis that now I forgot my homework assignment and I forgot to call my work about this and and whatever. And so now all these things are happening. So now we're getting a bad grade and dealing with a health problem, and because we haven't been talking that much with each other because we've been at the doctor so much, now we have a complete disconnect in our relationship. And so now my child hates me, and now we have three things and it's all falling apart. And really, it probably stems back to the first one, and maybe we weren't prepared for the crisis. We didn't know how, what we would do in those types of moments. We didn't have the culture prepared, or just, maybe it's like part of your brain shuts down because you're using all of your energy to get through that crisis time, which is probably more than likely what happens to most people. So it's important that when you're in a moment of crisis, when something else happens, that instead of getting more upset, more deflated, and feeling like your life is falling apart, that you tell yourself, no, of course this happens because I'm dealing with a crisis right now. And so that's what happens to the brain when it's under stress. It starts to have other moments where it doesn't function properly. And so I got to have a little bit of grace for myself, I do believe in that. I think we tear ourselves apart too much. And when we're in moments of crisis, we've got to understand what's happening. Otherwise, we're never going to be able to handle the situation. So one thing that I do in times of crisis is sometimes I just kind of laugh about it. I know some people laugh when they're stressed anyway, but just to kind of give yourself this moment to go, okay, now that's going to happen. That's all right. I got this. We can do this. To tell yourself, I can. It's okay. And to let yourself know that you don't have to be perfect in those moments. I think sometimes when we're in crisis, we expect perfection out of ourselves and others because the moment seems so heavy and hard. And we're not going to find it. So prepare yourself for the reality. Now, what can you do when you're in a moment of crisis to get everybody focused in and to make sure that it doesn't hurt the family? Because some crises can go on for a long time. Some of them are for 1 hour or one moment in a day, or maybe one day or a week or 1 year, but some can go on for a long, long time. The other day, I heard a story of a father who was dealing with brain tumors for 20 years. That's a long time for a family to be looking for solutions and dealing with the effects of these brain tumors. 20 years. That's sometimes how long crisis can go on for. So what you need to do is prepare for the long game. You need to tell yourself, okay, what am I going to focus on right now? What's the number one most important thing? And I'll help you with that. If you don't know, the number one most important thing is actually the people. It's not the bills. It's not whether I have a cough or I don't have a cough. It's not whether I have a fever or I don't have a fever. It's not whether I did good at the job interview or not. It's the people around you. And the number one thing that you can do in order to make everything seem like it's just a little bit better and a little bit okay is to connect with the people around you. So instead of barking orders and expecting perfection, which can happen, that's a trap we all can fall into. Look at the people in the eye, give a little smile. Tell them thank you. Praise them a little bit. Appreciate them in your heart as you're telling them to get their bag and to go put it in the car. If you change the way you see the people, the whole crisis changes. It becomes manageable. It might even become unifying. The way you see the people matters. Now, a big part of the planning for accepting crisis is knowing how to accept a no answer. And this is also going to help with conflict. So when you're managing conflict in a family, having some basic skills that you can utilize as a group really makes a difference. It will help you be a different kind of family, a more productive type of family, one that actually can manage all the difficult things that occur. Like, look at this. I've written all of these books. These books all help with different aspects of parenting and stuff like that. But they all hinge on a basic component, a basic principle of self-government. And these books right here, they're children's books. They're so easy to read. They each teach one of the 4 basic skills to self-government. If a person just learns these 4 basic skills, which are following instructions, accepting no answers and criticism, accepting consequences, and disagreeing appropriately, pretty much all your conflict goes away. Someone may try, but it doesn't go very far because now there's a skill that they have to be held accountable to. Now, hopefully the parent also has their skills that they need. This book is the best one to help you develop your skills as far as how you're going to correct problems and stuff like that. There is this book too, which is often vital for parents, The Power of Calm, which is going to help you be able to learn how to be calm when somebody else isn't too, because the tone is really important, not just the skills, but having those things in place in your family actually helps your family to be able to feel prepared when the conflict comes, so it doesn't need to last very long. Now, don't stress. You don't have to read every single one of Nicholeen Peck's 15 books. I mean, unless you want to. There's actually a course that makes it much easier for you to learn how to do teaching self-government in your family. But I just wanted to show you some of those things so that you could know that there's a journey you could go on, right? There's things that you could learn that maybe you don't know. And really, when it comes to handling conflict, we don't know what we don't know. And we end up falling into power struggles all the time with our children and our family members because we're not prepared. And that's basically how it boils down, is when a parent is prepared, they don't engage in the power struggle. They know how to help the child get to calmness first and then talk about the issue, teach them the skill that they need, help them learn and accept the consequences that they need to accept. You know, all those things, they help them get to that place without having to engage in a fight. So it's important to know parents can start conflicts and children can start conflicts. Husband, wife, we all can start conflicts. It just takes getting a little bit selfish, focusing a little bit too much upon how we feel, what we think, what we want, what we're experiencing. Sometimes we just get a little myopic, just too much inner focus, so that we forget that we are part of a group and that other people are processing at the same time. And they may be processing on the inside about how they feel. And if we don't seek to understand that, then everybody's just going to start fighting. So have a method, have a plan in place. I would love to help you with that plan. In fact, I have a full-length class that's going to go into details about how to teach those skills, how to do corrections in a simple way that will be predictable. You can do it the same way every time, so that your family does not have to keep going through all of this conflict. And that video is actually called The Not So Known Secret for Parenting Success. It's a full-length class. One thing that I'd love to tell you, though, is that just from my own personal experience, is that it is possible to have a family that doesn't fight all the time. I was raised in a home where there was a lot of fighting. There was a lot of bullying and parents saying, well, I'm the boss, that's why, and stuff like that. And then there were children fighting with each other too, and lots of sibling rivalry and trying to see who was stronger, king of the hill type stuff. And I didn't want that for my family, so I decided I was going to be more planned out than what my parents were. And it made all the difference. And our home life was, I don't want to say we never had a conflict, because, we had sometimes people who had a problem, but then boom, they were like, wait, I know how to handle this. And they just used their skills and they got understood, and people came to that place of understanding that they needed. Having a plan makes all the difference. For real. It will change everything for you. So go to the Not So Known Secret for Parenting Success video next and start learning those skills. I'll see you there.